All right, before we even get started, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. I'm adopted. And before you say anything or think anything, I'll take the next few minutes to explain that I was adopted from birth by my parents, and I have had a wonderful life growing up in Virginia. And I've always been very open about my adoption. And I'm here to shatter some misconceptions about adoption with you today. I had a really good childhood, and I grew up knowing I was adopted from a very young age. I have a brother who is adopted as well, and I have a social life, and I have friends just like you, and I have two dogs, and I've never felt different from my family or my peers just because I'm adopted. We're just like any other normal American family. And like any other kid, I grew up admiring my parents, especially my dad, because he taught me a love for video work from a very young age because it's what he does. And I took that love of video work to college and became a communications student and fell in love with video work, audio work, editing, and working with clients. And even from a young age, I noticed that people would either ask me a million questions or they would shy away from the topic of my adoption when I brought it up. And some even said, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you're adopted." So I finally made the connection over the years why. They had made a preconceived notion in their head about adoption from TV shows and movies. Shows like The Fosters, Friends, Grey's Anatomy, and This Is Us all share different adoption and foster care situations. However, they tend to show either the bad or the ugly side of the process of adoption way more than they show the good parts of adoption. This is bad because it can leave people with this very hesitant feeling towards the process of adoption. It can lead to frustrations about the adoption process, and people see these carefully made up stories and start to form opinions on how it's going to be even before they start, and it doesn't show the whole story. This is a problem because 50,644 kids in the United States alone are up for adoption. 7,000 of those children are from Virginia. And we as a state can work to combat that statistic in many ways, but let's just start with the media's portrayal of adoption. In this scenario, I would be freelance to the Virginia Department of Social Services. They would be my client, and we would work together to produce and record a series of videos supporting the process of adoption and fostering in Virginia, and then publicizing them on the web to really get the word out there and help them gain that social media presence that they so desperately need. The thing to do would be to schedule a meeting with my client to discuss ideas, turnaround time, and budget. These things are really important for any client-based video project to make sure that the client and myself are on the same page as each other. It's all about teamwork in this stage and making the client happy and making the video they want in the best way possible. After establishing a plan, first we would decide who would be in these productions. In our case, these 4 videos, which would be called Love Makes a Family, would need at least 5 to 6 families in them. We would then reach out to those families, schedule times, and then pick our location, which would be the Virginia Department of Social Services building. Next, we would make sure we have all the necessary equipment to make a film of this nature. We need multiple cameras, multiple tripods, extensive lighting equipment, microphones, as well as editing software. Remember, the better the equipment, the better quality of the video, so we might have to budget for that. Up next is paperwork. Not so fun, but super important considering this is a government-run program. We would need everyone participating to sign a consent form saying that we are allowed to use them on camera as well as use their audio for these films. We need to make it very clear what these films are about and what they're participating in to make sure we cover all of our bases and ensure that everything runs smoothly. Video 1 would be a testimonial video and would be really used to share all of the happy endings and share how the families got there. We would interview parents, teens, kids, all involved in adoption and foster care. We really want to pull on the heartstrings of the viewer and make everyone start thinking about the actual process of adoption as not being so scary. Video 2 is going to highlight all of the wonderful programs that the Virginia Department of Social Services has to offer. This will show people that they aren't alone in this process, and they have all access to the support and the resources they would need to really thrive and be like, hey, this process isn't that scary after all. Video 3 will be more of an animated walkthrough of their website, which can be a little intimidating. We will have the web manager of the Virginia Department of Social Services sit down and do a voiceover of how to work every aspect of their website and provide necessary links and information for anyone looking to get to the foster care or adoption section. Video 4, our final video, will be all about why we want to make this series in the first place. It'll share my story since I'm the director, and it'll show all of the behind the scenes and making of this video. We'll feature my adoption story, interviews with me and my parents, and then we'll show members of the Virginia Department of Social Services on just why they do this. After the production and editing for all 4 films is completed, we will spend a month releasing these films. We will do it like this in order to keep everyone engaged in the films and not have them overwhelmed at the amount of videos that we're producing at one time. We want the people to really enjoy this series and remember it and not be bombarded by videos on their timeline. We will then publish these videos on every single social media site as well as the Virginia Department of Social Services YouTube and website. We will then spend money to promote these as advertisements on these social sites, and then we'll share them in order for them to get more views. We want to make sure these videos are getting a lot of attention because that's really overall our goal. This is important because the more attention to these videos means the more people will talk about adoption, making this conversation more normalized, and it'll bring more awareness to the adoption and foster care program in Virginia and just how easy it can be to get started into that process, which is a big goal, is to educate. The base of my project is a promotional poster which we will release before the videos are done being edited. The colors we chose are to match the brand of the Virginia Department of Social Services and keep it consistent. This poster will be posted around their building as well as their website and their social media sites to help promote the video series. This will better help the statistics of adoption in Virginia. Thank you.